Hi, I'm Chris Toplack of The Signature Spot, and today's Signature Short, in 5 minutes or less, is becoming Razor Ramon. While employed with WCW, Scott Hall called WWF once a week for an entire year and asked to speak to Pat Patterson, but reception would always say that he was in a meeting or busy. So Scott figured, well, sometimes it's who you know. Eventually, he called up his former AWA tag team partner Curt Hennig, who was working in WWF as Mr. Perfect. Scott asked if he could earn a spot or a tryout. By the time Hall arrived at home, he had 2 messages from Pat Patterson. Suddenly, Scott was immediately put through. Due to just signing a new contract with WCW, Scott would be forced to wait an entire year before he would debut as Razor Ramon in WWF during a dark match. Scott was eventually signed, and despite being confident in his microphone abilities, he simply didn't know what to say. He had no character, no rhyme or reason. During a meeting with Vince McMahon, the chairman would ask what he could relate to. Hall responded that his favorite movie was Scarface. And Hall famously asked, "Have you seen Scarface?" McMahon responded with, "No." That's where Hall referenced the famous "say hello to the bad guy" line. Suddenly, Vince realized that he had one hell of a character on his hands and personally coached Scott Hall to really embody the Razor Ramon character, and was even present for the vignette shoots. During his first match at Madison Square Garden against Randy Savage, Razor's music started to play, and Vince urged him to make the audience wait as a way to command attention. Yet another layer in the Razor Ramon character. Speaking of which, this character allowed Scott to transform into somebody who didn't have any problems, ooze machismo, and epitomize cool. So what about the toothpick? Well, it was inspired by 2 men. The first was DDP. As the 2 worked together in WCW, Page grabbed them each toothpicks while leaving a Waffle House location and thought it would be a great idea to flick up at the camera following a promo. Unfortunately, the toothpick fell out of Page's mouth before he could. The other individual was Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig. Scott Hall watched as Mr. Perfect would swat his gum out of the air, while it was often shown as a replay. Scott took note of this and thought, hey, that's pretty cool. Suddenly, Razor Ramon was flicking his toothpick, and it became one of his true calling cards. Follow The Signature Spot on social media for daily content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and visit thesignaturesspot.com for weekly articles.